Hello, gladiators, and welcome back to another episode of the life and suffering of Sir Brante. Where we left off, we have threatened to expose Stefan and his secret affair if he did not relent and stop his incessant try to get Gloria out of the family's hair. Which means we have lost quite a big relationship in our life. He has a distaste for us, and we are on bad blood. Let's see what happens next. Alright, give it a moment. Sir Bronte's being a little sad again. It's always got the loading times for it, don't it? It's okay, Rocky. Take your time. "26 years old now. After many years, the simmering, unceasing hostilities between Overseer Gaius Tempest and Archduke Melanidas have finally come to an end. The Archduke has abandoned all attempts to collect additional taxes from the people. By my grace, I hereby release the common people of Magra from the Archduke's tax. All hail the dynasty of Melanidas, which has protected you since time immemorial." The farmers and merchants can finally heave a sigh of relief. Unexpectedly, the Archduke soon withdrew from all provincial affairs, sequestering himself in his ancestral castle of Serpenverda. The gentry who remained loyal to the Archduke are baffled. Has he accepted defeat at the hands of the Overseer? Or is this just an elaborate ruse? Either way, with the Archduke out of the picture, the senior gentry of Magra have lost some of their influence to the Overseer and his retinue of budding dynasties and nobles of the mantle. The feud between the two Archnean rulers has ended, but the noble estate has been split nonetheless. The common people see this as yet another reason to demand change. Another year of service as a judge is behind you, but you have no time to celebrate. Your days are filled with unremarkable litigation and similar-looking complaints. Again and again, you see poorly written complaint forms. They claim that noble landowners are extorting money, punishing commoners for nothing, doing whatever they please. You have noticed a change in tone, from pleading to desperate to quietly furious. The lowborn lot is to suffer, but how much longer can they endure? Every day, once the petty litigation has been dealt with, you return to Otten's case. Again and again, for 2 years now, you search for a way to do the unthinkable. To have an Archnean, and the High Commander at that, convicted for his crimes. You have not heard from Otten since your encounter at the City Hall, but he likely has spies among the judges and gendarmes. Sooner or later he will realize the true state of your progress and find a way to get rid of this case. And you. Unless you are prepared to strike the first blow. But what should you do? Will you speak against Otten in public and summon him to a trial? Is there any other way to deal with the High Commander? Either way, now is not the time. And so you wait and prepare. As you approach the steps of the prefecture today, a line of Legion soldiers wearing red cloaks bar your path. They are the personal guard of the provincial overseer. Has Gaius Tempest graced you with his august presence? You enter only after presenting your judge's signet to the guards. The common room of the prefecture is remarkably quiet and deserted. All petitioners have been chased away. The judges and gendarmes do not dare to leave their offices. Everyone is afraid to breathe. The overseer, the emperor's own brother, has arrived completely unexpectedly. The guards standing watch say you are expected at the prefect's office. You are escorted upstairs. Elborn is visibly anxious. The honored guest is there, reclining in the prefect's comfortable chair, his crimson, fur-trimmed cloak cast over his back. His overseer, Gaius Tempest himself. You bow deeply to the overseer. He acknowledges your presence with a quick nod and turns back to Elborn. "Well, Elborn, I am positively incensed to see what has become of the city under your care. I put you in this seat to instill order under imperial law, but you have given the commoners too many freedoms, and now they are revolting against their lot and the Emperor's rule, plotting, forming secret societies, and now an explosion in Anazat. An attempt on the magistrate's life. Everyone in the city is talking about some group called the Last Straw. This is unthinkable. Elborn accepts the blame without any sign of emotion, but you notice the muscles twitch behind the wrinkles on his face. I have ordered the secret chancellery to deal with this last straw, but their leader, a low-born woman named Sophia, is still at large. Last night I ordered a Legion squad to set a trap for this Sophia. We almost had her, but then an Archnean appeared and attacked the soldiers. Elborn glances at you, confused, an unspoken question in his eyes. Did you hear that, Brante? An Archnean, defending a low-born woman? But how? Indeed, Prefect, one Anthony Fess, a young Archnean of little note. It seems he now values low-born insurgents more than his high birth, his honor, his loyalty to the Imperial dynasty. Baron Alfaro of the Secret Chancellery has been tracking him for quite some time. The young man began mingling with revolutionary rabble and has since lost his mind. Now he swings his sword about in defense of the rights of the common folk. Let us leave the insurgents to the Secret Chancellery. That is their duty. What concerns me, however, is Anthony Fess. My legionnaires were nipping at the insurgents' heels, and then this Archnean appeared and murdered 5 soldiers? Those poor souls were utterly flummoxed, unsure whether to fight back or humbly accept their death at the hands of an Archnean. The mind boggles, Your Eminence. An Archnean has broken the law for the sake of the common estate. May I assume Your Eminence has a plan for this, Sir Fess? Would that I had even a semblance of a plan. What a sordid predicament. Anthony Fess is a traitor who has committed a great offense against the crown, yet he is an Archnean. I shudder to think what might happen were he to be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. This has never happened in all of the province's history. The Archnean dynasties will not tolerate it. And Archduke Melanidas will be swift to take advantage of the situation and undermine my authority in the province. Your Eminence, the law of the Empire is the same for all its subjects. Perhaps it would be better to have its power demonstrated, once and for all. Sir Fess challenged more than the soldiers of the Legion. He challenged the rule of the Emperor himself. Elborn, what did I just tell you? Prosecuting an Archnean would represent an even greater threat to my authority. Find another way. This Fess is young and hot-tempered, so push him to the breaking point in the courtroom. Get him to draw his sword. Let everyone see him for the dangerous traitor he is. Even for an Archnean, this would be an unforgivable transgression. Not even the Archduke would dispute a verdict against him. Gaius Tempest's gaze focuses on you. You do your best to show no emotion and remain as invisible as possible until the Overseer gives you permission to speak. Judge Brante, you are here for a reason. You will handle the prosecution. I'd rather have Sir Prefect deal with this mess of a case himself, but he is too powerful to risk it if it fails. Rest assured, many nobles and Archneans will demand you set him free no matter how much evidence you have against him. The traitor Fess must be punished, but I ask you to ensure that my reputation remains untarnished. I have no intention of going down in history as the Overseer who allowed our inviolable Archnean rights to be compromised. That would be crossing the line. Prepare your case. Gaius Tempest rises from his seat in the blink of an eye and walks out, escorted by his guards. For a few seconds, utter silence fills the prefect's office. Then at long last, Elborn feels he no longer has to restrain himself. He blames me for what's going on? Me, his most loyal human. No, I will do everything I can to have that criminal punished. Do you realize how much it will advance our cause if we can get that Archnean condemned in a court of law? This is the only way we can instill the rule of law in these lands, Brante. The Overseer insists that the trial be scheduled for tomorrow. Anthony Fess has been located. He was found and surrounded by gendarmes on the street. However, he did not resist and gave his sword of honor to stand trial. You barely have time to prepare the charges before entering the courtroom. The normally half-empty seats in the courtroom are crowded today. The highest ranks of the aristocracy and the most noble families and dynasties all focus their gaze on you as soon as you step inside. In the depths of the courtroom you notice Octavia Melanidas, surrounded by her retinue of young ladies. The Archduke's daughter watches the trial unfold with a wry, indifferent smile. You ascend to the podium. Prefect Elborn himself presides over the Board of Judges. The courtroom doors swing open and the defendant Anthony Fess enters, escorted by gendarmes. The young Archnean is dressed in a defiantly modest garb for his status. No embellishments, no jewelry, just a simple linen undershirt. However, he still carries a sword, as expected from a high-born noble. You read the charges as procedure demands. Sir Anthony Fess willfully caused the lesser deaths of 5 soldiers of the Legion, thereby allowing a number of the last-straw insurgents to escape punishment. Murmuring fills the courtroom. The Archnean's large, dark eyes watch closely, catching every motion in the hall. Then suddenly, Anthony Fess interrupts you to speak for himself. People of Anazat, I was not brought here by force today. I broke the law, and I am ready and willing to be held accountable before all of you. I fought those Legion soldiers, and I killed him. Did I violate Imperial law? Yes, I did. Yet does anyone even bother to count the transgressions committed by our rulers on a daily basis? Why does this law exist, if no one follows it? I do not accept a law that offers no salvation from eternal tyranny for the common estate. By my birth, I was given the power to rule over humans, but if suffering is all that rule brings, then I reject it. I am ready and willing to sacrifice my very life for the sake of justice, so that all citizens of the Empire will begin to respect the law. The young Archnean's words, loud and desperately audacious, spark turmoil in the courtroom. The stunned Board of Judges is at a loss for words. The gendarmes freeze in confusion. The nobles are terrified. You hear their screams. Madman, pull yourself together. You're no commoner, you're an Archnean. The courtroom is on the verge of exploding. Oh, what? Hey! Why is that my only option? I don't have enough manipulation or eloquence. I don't have enough favor with the Archduke. And I don't have enough reputation or the patronage of the powerful. Wow, really? Really? Oh, this throws a wrench into everything. Everything might be ruined by this decision. Oh, this is bad. This is very, very bad. The courtroom is on the verge of exploding with tension. The gendarmes try in vain to placate the audience. The Board of Judges looks to you. As the prosecutor, you must continue reading the charges against the defendant. The fate of the rebellious Archnean is in your hands, but do you have what it takes to make the most of this situation? Well, apparently not. You loudly call for attention. Some time passes before you restore order in the court and continue your opening remarks, albeit with a sudden unexpected twist. There has been a misunderstanding, you say. Indeed, Sir Anthony Fess engaged in combat with Legion soldiers, but only because their brazen behavior left him no choice but to defend his honor. Naturally, you say the insurgents were not involved in any way. There can be doubt that no Archnean noble birth would ever defy the sacred rule of the Emperor. Surely the honorable Board of Judges would agree. The nobles in the courtroom, left stunned and speechless by the young Archnean's words a moment ago, seem to awaken from their daze. They applaud you. Hear, hear, they cry. Hands off the Archneans. Only Octavia Melanidas remains silent in the back row, her face contorted in a disdainful smirk. Anthony Fess looks around the courtroom, dumbfounded. He tries to speak again, but you cut him off before he can even begin. You continue your speech. This young Archnean nobleman has allowed his roiling ancient blood and desire for greatness to speak louder than reason. We should not misinterpret his youthful fervor as treason. Anthony Fess is clearly innocent and must be freed at once. Your speech concluded, you catch your breath, but when you look up, your eyes meet Elborn's heavy, scornful gaze, devoid of all respect. The prefect sighs, painfully, grievously and reaches for his gavel. Due to the absence of any charges, the court has no choice but to find Sir Anthony Fess not guilty. You are free to go, but remember, the laws of the Empire represent the will of our Emperor and the twins themselves. Oh, I just feel dirty now. The aristocracy applauds this just verdict from the stalls. The gendarmes hurried the rebellious Arcanian out of the courtroom before he can utter another word. The prefect walks down from the podium, his eyes trained on you full of chagrin. Not only have you let me down, Brante, you've also shown everyone that Arcanians are above the law even if they commit crimes out in the open. I had hoped that this outrageous call for rebellion would finally force an Arcanian to face justice. Yet the aristocracy would rather tolerate a singular madman's revolt than risk their immunity from the legal process. Fortunately for you, the prefect is quickly surrounded by nobles. Excited by the case of Anthony Fess, they have questions that demand answers. You slip out of the courtroom, only to run into a crowd of commoners. But to your surprise, they shower you with adoring cries. All hail Judge Brante! He saved good Sir Fess! The news that you have rescued the sole Arcanian fighting for the lowborn is quick to spread across all across Anazat. A letter arrives almost immediately after the trial bearing the Overseer's seal. Gaius Tempest makes attempts to conceal his anger. Entrusting this case to you was a mistake, Judge. You failed to resolve it in a worthy fashion. Anthony Fess is now at large, free to rouse the people to revolt as he pleases. But do not blame yourself. It is my own fault for assigning a delicate matter of such importance to a man who was but recently a commoner. You let out a heavy sigh. It seems everyone in Magra has their own reason to condemn your decision. Okay, I'd rather not be here. I would really not like to be here. We need one more chance to get our justice up. I would really appreciate it, because now we're at 8. We need to be at least 9. Oh, this just keeps getting worse and worse. Deafening silence fills your home. You are standing by Mother's bedside. So are Father, Gloria, and Nathan. For an entire day, Mother has been feverish, barely conscious. Gloria never leaves her side, not even for a minute. Nathan has even stopped drinking so he can offer your sister his awkward help. Mother's health deteriorated greatly over the past year, and the fighting in the family home has dealt a great blow to her. She has been bedridden for a month. You've been to every doctor and folk healer, but no one can help her. They all tell you the same thing. Lady Lydia's life is in the hands of the twins now. If she passes away, she will not come back. And so you wait by Mother's bed in sorrow, hoping that she will regain consciousness. There is a long silence, and no one has the courage to break. Then at last you hear Nathan's meek voice. Mother, it's me, Nathan. Can you hear me? Mother suddenly rises on her elbows. She looks around, her eyes unseeing, beads of sweat forming on her pale forehead. My son, where are you? Nathan takes Mother by her thin, emaciated hand. She leans closer to look at him, struggling to recognize his face. Stefan, were you playing with your younger brothers in the garden? You must be all dirty. Come here. You may not be my son, but I care for you as though you were my own. Oh, what a nice, happy family we have. A blessing from the twins. Nathan is unsure what to do or say. Father strokes his wife's hair. His eyes are 2 orbs of searing, indescribable pain. You're a little confused, Lydia. This is Nathan, and the children are all grown up now, remember? Mother's eyes were bright and alive just now, but the next moment they grow dim again. Her head falls weakly back into the pillow. You're right, my husband. The children grew up, but I was never able to teach them how to live in peace with each other. I let you down, Robert. You made a mistake when you took me into your home. You saved my daughter and me from a life of poverty, and how did I repay you? Gloria can't take it anymore. What are you saying, Mother? Don't you dare blame yourself. You did your best. You did all you could. Father looks away, unable to hold back the deluge of tears. Mother's voice, so faint now, calls out to you. And Roman, where is he? With great care, you move closer to Mother. You answer her quietly. You're here, right by her side. Roman, I'm so happy to know you're here. I always knew greatness awaited you, ever since you were a little boy. What a shame I won't be there to see it. I couldn't save the Brante family. I will face my punishment at my final judgment. But don't worry, my dears. I'm ready to stand before the twins. Lydia Bronte's voice trails off. No longer a voice, just a final whisper of life. Will you accept your mother's death, or will you find a way to fight for her life? Wow. Everything is going bad this episode. Your heart aches and grows numb as you realize the inevitable. There is nothing you can do to help your dying mother. There is nothing that would give her strength. Your family has grown weak from all the spite and strife that has filled your home. Even now, at Mother's deathbed, you can feel the enmity and disappointment and anger driving your family apart. Children, accept this humbly. Her voice trails off. Her eyes grow dull. Her cold hands release yours, fall onto the bed, and grow still. The last emotion on Mother's face is a sadness born of exhaustion. A scream of despair rips itself out of Gloria's throat. We did this to her. We fought so much that we killed her. Me, Stefan, Roman. Nathan yelps with grief. He runs away howling. Stefan remains still, a living statue chained to the head of the bed. Father slowly sits and takes his late wife's hands in his. His tears flow no more. His eyes stare far into the distance, empty and bleak. Lydia. You mourn her together, but alone. You leave the house to roam the garden, empty and numb. Mother has left this world for the peak of the pillar to face the twins' judgment. She spent all her life preparing for this journey. But now her mortal life has ended. She's no longer here. Never again will she gather her family at the table. Never again will she offer a word of solace in trying times. Never again will she greet you with her quiet, humble smile. You bury your face in your hands. Lydia Brante, your mother, has left this world. And I think that's where we're going to end today's episode. A lot of our decisions that we've made are coming back to show why they might have been important. Having a better relationship and career connections. Having better relationships with our family. So much that we could have done, but focused on other things. But that's the end of today's episode. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. All the call to action stuff. And from the bottom of my heart, I hope you all have a good night.